Hello, everyone. Really excited to have you join us on our mentors panel with Ayodeji. We have we'll be having Felix and Praise joining us soon. But while we're here, Ayodeji, do you want to go ahead and introduce yourself?
Okay, my name is Ayodiji Ajuwon, actually. I'm the product lead at our pass. Our pass is the fastest one-click checkout for Africa. I think I usually tell people that I don't think I have any special talent. I'm just someone who is passionately curious about everything I decide to put my mind to. Yeah, so that's just a brief about me.
Nice. And then we also have Bashir. Bashir, want to go ahead and introduce yourself?
Hi everyone, my name is Bashir Ahmed, Program Associate at Co-Creation Hub, and also the product lead for the Hub Design Challenge. So happy to be here. Yeah, thanks for having me. Nice to meet you
Nice, cool
already.
stuff.
I think this is the first time I've been hearing your voice for like since I graduated. Nice
Yeah,
to see you again.
it's been a while.
Awesome. Yeah, I mean, it seems Prince is here with us. Prince, if you're here with us, can you put on your camera so we can add you to the stream? But yeah, I mean, and also my name is Ahmed, and I'm on the Off Design Challenge team together with Bashir, and we are working towards having a really happy and mind blowing hackathon. So yeah, I mean, so my first question to you is going to be around products. So if you have to if you have to define what product design means, like what does that look like?
Okay, so product design. I think product design is basically you having to discover an opportunity because product design requires research first. So the first part of product design is actually having to discover an opportunity and a problem where you want to take to market and solve, define or design a proper solution for it, and the process of actually even testing it with real users for product market fit. I think I'll just cap it there.
Nice. I think we have Prince here. So Prince, can you hear us?
Hi, yeah, I can. I'm struggling to work. I'll do my best. It's really noisy here. Hi everybody.
Hey, nice to
High
meet you.
praise.
Yeah, nice to meet you, Prince. So yeah, again, I was just working with Ayadiji. Do you want to go ahead and introduce yourself? Tell us
Okay,
about
I'll
yourself.
just use my AirPod instead. All right, can you hear me now?
Yes.
All right, good. Hi, I did you. How you doing, sir?
High praise. I'm doing fine. How you doing?
Nice. Go ahead, Prince. Can you tell us about yourself, your background?
So,
Is Prince
I
there?
didn't hear that correctly. Could you take that again?
I was asking if you could tell us about yourself, like your
Oh,
background.
right. My name is Praise, of course. I'm a brand coach and sales guy. Very passionate about growth and growing businesses. In the last couple months, I've been excited about transitioning to growth for startups and the possibilities that African startups can grow into something really major, disrupting the economic ecosystem of Africa itself and transitioning into the global space. So that's just something about myself for now.
Awesome. Actually, I think there is something wrong with your audio. It's a little bit not so sharp. Yeah, it seems to be loud. But yeah, don't worry. So again, so Prince, if you are to define products, you know, okay, I think you should use your AirPod so you can block the noise. It's a lot of like echo coming out. Not echo like noise, like the background noise. It's a little bit much.
I think I'm just gonna try join again because I barely can hear you, and of your, I mean, you cannot hear me too. So I'll just try to join again, and hopefully
No, no,
that
no.
fixes
Okay,
it.
Prince. So I can hear you. Can you hear me? Okay, I guess it's network. So again, again, I'll throw this back to you, Ayodeji, right? So again, so we have people on this, people on this watching this stream now, participating
Oh,
in the
great.
Up Design Challenge, and then they also want to build products at the end of this whole hackathon, right? So again,
Oh,
as
great.
as a product lead at our pass, one of the fastest, if I mean, if not the fastest one-click checkouts in Africa itself, so
Yeah.
what would you define, like the design process like? So what should they be looking at while trying to design their products?
Okay, yeah. So we're trying to design product. I think one of the first thing that people need to actually put in mind when designing product is that product is for the people. Like you should be people minded when you're building products, and which is something a lot of people just put out of their minds. Everybody finds different things, interesting things to build, and the first thought is let's just build. But I think that product should actually be people minded. So whatever you decide to build or whatever you set in place to build, is it useful? Is it solving a real world problem? You get me? So that's like the ideology that people need to understand about product. Yeah, and it doesn't stop us from being innovative when having to design products or build products. That innovation should still stand, but the most important thing is the people factor there, meaning you're developing for a market or you're developing for some set of people, a target market. So I think that's the most important thing that needs to be considered when developing products. I think other things that we need to elaborate on are stuff like attention to detail when designing products. Aesthetics is very important. A lot of people say, I think I'll mention two similar but a bit contradicting things. The first one is aesthetics is very, very, very important, and always push forward for functionality over too many features, right? So what that means basically is that if you want to do something, you need to be able to use the lean or the agile methodology to build in. You necessarily don't, okay, you have a full-fledged idea. You necessarily don't have to just say, oh, I want to build this thing, then use the waterfall methodology. So waterfall methodology means building something from scratch to finish, right? Use a lean strategy to building whatever you want to build. You can ship it one by one. Okay, I have this idea to build this particular thing. I don't have to build everything at once. I have to build the most important things that I believe that people would interact with and will enjoy, and the things that are actually solving problems or act as a solution to people. I think those are some of the most important things. Then functions over features, right? So it means do not ship out too much. Make sure your functionality is solid enough, and aesthetics is very important. Um, I used to tell people something. I say, no matter how functional your product is, right? If it is not user friendly, if it is not appeasing to the eye, then people are actually not going to use your product because you might believe that you built a very great infrastructure, but even though that infrastructure is what is carrying that product or the components of that product is what is carrying it, what your users see or what the people you are developing it for see is the surface, which is the front end of everything you've done. So it means that that part should also be something that we should look into and always hold key. Yeah, I think that's it.
Yeah, nice. I mean, I definitely also agree with you. I think probably we've gone past that age and stage where people try to build everything once, and now we're trying to see more of like ship features. Again, and as
Yeah.
again as a product lead, so what was that thing that that you saw, um, that that sort of like made you like have this idea. So again, definitely you must have probably started with like the whole non sort of like I'll say like the waterfall methodology, if you get what I mean. So again, but something happened to you that inspired you, or was it that you started
Yeah.
straight up with the lean approach, or was there something that you saw that inspired you to say that
Okay.
what, let's build?
Okay. Okay, well, what you've asked for literally takes me a little back into my career, right? And it's interesting to know that I actually started with Oft back then, and yeah, I think it was almost like 2 years or something. building this, building that before things became, more straightforward. Yeah, so I think one of the things I started with back then was actually building with waterfall methodology. We have an idea, let's build. So most of the time, so we are building is end to end. But as at that time, we were building innovations and we were building ideas, right? And we were really not building it for people. Actually, we were building it for ourselves. We were glad, we were happy to see what we were building, and that was what was the most important thing to us back then. When I got into the industry fully, and I had to start interacting with people, with target markets, and so many things like that. With user feedback, I discovered at that point that the waterfall methodology was not going to work again because you would see a lot of churn. And the market is, for everything you're building is a solution. You're trying to solve something, right? And one thing you need to understand is that nobody waits for you. Competitions rise every day. Someone will always build something similar to what you're going to build. So you don't have to wait till you build everything. Before you build everything, people would have actually built part of what you've set out to build, and they would have been pushing those things one by one. And before you know it, these guys are like off, and people are already flowing with them while you're still back down there. So, and I think there was one, is it podcast? I can't remember, but I think I remember listening to someone saying something like, um, the moment you realize that your product is a wonderful product as first build, it means you failed. It means you're too late to the market because you waited and waited and waited and waited to build. Then you looked at this product and you yourself, you said, wow, this is wonderful. Then it literally means that you failed. You're late to the market because I don't think anyone has that ideology that his first product or his first build was wonderful, right? So you need people to start interacting. You need a product market fit. Yeah, you get. Is your idea, is it solving a problem? It is, you need to be, you can't build finish and then you push your product into the market and you discover that wow, people are not even interacting with it and it becomes a failed product and you decide to kill it. Even before you take that energy, that development strength, at the beginning, you need to start testing with users. You need people, real users, to go through your product so that you know, okay, I think what I'm building is solving a particular problem, is solving a problem. Or if it is not solving a problem, at that point, you have that flexibility to modify and say, okay, since this is not exactly solving people's problems, can I twist it into this? Can I change it into this so that it can actually solve problems? Yeah. So that was when I discovered that yeah, waterfall methodology is not it. Although there are definitely companies that use waterfall methodology, the likes of Apple, where they set out to do something and they have to like sit down with whole year and keep building, and there's just this final launch where they just launch everything out once. Those methodologies are good for companies or establishments. Like I said, companies or establishments are already found their product market fit and already have a sustainable environment, meaning either that product is live or not, right? It does not affect their business and it does not bring them down.
Yeah, I mean, awesome. I think like that's definitely like a good way to look at it. So again, so as a starter, maybe waterfall may not be for you, but as an establishment that you already have, that source of income coming in, you can afford to run stuff. Man, that's some nice insight. I think we have Praise and Felix. Felix, I don't know if you can put on your camera if you're here with us. Are you here with us? Hey, awesome, awesome. Um, nice to meet you, Felix. So yeah, again, I was just like chatting with Ayodeji Praise, I mean before you joined us, about like this whole product stuff. But before you join, this conversation, do you mind doing a little bit of intro about yourself? Your background and what you do.
Okay, thank you so much. I am Felix from India. I'm an IT entrepreneur in Cameroon. I'm the founder of Large Solutions, an IT firm where we develop solutions. And so far, we have developed several Android application websites. And one of our trending applications, which is selling in the market today, is the Cameroon GC Guide app. And it's an innovative app which is helping students find fast questions from their phones. And we started this solution in April 2018, and today we have over 15,000 students across across Cameroon schools who are making use of this application. It's a very simple but very resourceful mobile application, and it's found on the App Store. So this is all what we are doing. We are seeing how we can help startups, organizations to be able to build their websites and to build their solutions. Thank you.
Awesome, awesome. I think like I'm really hyped for this session. Because one, we have Ayodeji, a product dev from our past. One of the fastest one-click checkout in Africa. We have Felix, who is also the founder. Has built like really successful products in Cameroon, and again, even across Africa, for example. We also have Prince, who is a recognized brand coach lead, and is more into startups and accelerators. So again, so if you're watching us again, and again, this is for the participant and you're looking to build your product, feel free to drop questions in the comment section. They'll be sure to answer it. So again, back to you, Felix. In a quick one is I want to ask you again. So if you are to define a product, right? How you define a product? What's sort of like
Okay.
your unique perspective to it? Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, a product is just um I'll just say it's just a tool which you actually design or what you are offering to actually solving or targeting a problem. Yes, it's just a platform which you are offering to solve a particular problem. So you can have products, you can decide to design a web platform, a mobile app, which is a product, and which through this platform you are trying to address a particular problem.
Awesome, awesome. Chris, I don't know, um, if you're here with us, if you're here with us, do you want to, talk about, like a little bit about product from your own point of view?
Sorry, Ahmed, was that for me?
Yes, it was from you.
All right. If I get your question correctly, you're asking what was the first thing you would do about a product if it's starting out. Is that correct?
Exactly.
Well, from my perspective, is I just like to keep it simple. Like Albert Einstein says, keep it simple but not simpler. First, make sure you're solving a problem enough for people to pay you for. Because when it gets simpler than that, people won't pay you. When it's something they can do by themselves, without needing you, they will literally not need you, and you need them to need you to pay you. So that's like the first thing, because I'm the business brand perspective guy who needs the money, bouncing in and banding into the bank. So yeah, that's my first perspective. The second is you need a great team. You know, I mean, you will never get a full-fledged vision of your idea, but you need a great team and people work. And I mean, once you can get people to work, great people actually, not just people, great people to see what you're seeing and to buy into the vision. I just literally think that you're unstoppable. You're going to face challenges, but you're unstoppable for the first times.
Nice, 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 cool stuff. Yeah. So I mean, this is gonna be to you, right? So again, so I'm gonna take a really simple like sample case, or more like a point of view. So let's say how many participants currently participating in the off design challenge, right? And I want to
Yeah.
build the product, right? Definitely I need to do some some sort of like research into like what my
Mhm.
customers what are they looking for, and all the kind of like nice stuff with it. So as a product lead, what would you suggest should be those steps they should be taking towards it?
Yeah, I think I'd first of all I'll break down the process before giving more details. I think the first thing that anyone should do before designing a product is research. um, any idea you have to do research first. Are there other people doing such things? Um, can you coin out some things that those people are doing, and even modify on some of those things? So research is like the most important thing that you have to go through first. Then the next stage is you having to outline, oh, this is my target market. All those parts are still like all together we research. Then we move to design. After design, you move to testing or prototyping, right? Meaning you should be able to create a model or a concept out of what you've researched on, what you've designed. and push it forward to either beta users, that's either maybe your friends and family, your immediate people around you, or I think the best way is actually finding your target market amongst those people, because definitely I as a person won't give someone who's not like part of the target market the product to test. So yeah, you find your target market amongst people that you can easily relate with and allow them to go through these products before you say, okay, yes, I want to submit this product, right? So research important, design important, then let people see what you have done. I think that's very important. Then be innovative about it, right? Um, I think I used to tell people something. There's literally almost nothing that has not been built. The most important thing or how things get better is that there's always improvement of things that people have done in the past. So if we look at iPhones, iPhone, when you see iPhones, new versions of iPhones coming every day, it's just an improvement of what was already existing. So it means that even though you have an idea, it does not mean some people actually have worked on something similar before. But the most important thing also what you're trying to drive is that you probably can do that thing better. So find the uniqueness in your own idea, be innovative about it, make it simple, just like Chris said. Then stay trendy. I think that's one very important thing. So yes, you're about to design a product. You shouldn't just design a messy product, right? You should design something that is actually in the trend. So they should stay trendy. Make sure that all the ideas you're trying to, push out, the research you're doing is still something that that people can easily jump on and flow with. Yeah.
Awesome, awesome, nice. Again, Felix, to you is gonna be, I know you mentioned about like some of the productive builds, like how they scaled up, to a couple of users already. So, what is that design process like for you? Like, were there any blockers? Were there any stumbling blocks? And if there were all those blockers and stumbling blocks, like how did you go around it? Felix, are you there? Did you get what I said? Seems the network is a little bit bad. So yeah, also just need to press stuff. So pressing in, I mean, I know like you are in all this, like startup, getting your product out to the markets, letting people see it. So so what are those things that you look at, you know, in startup, and then you feel like, okay, this startup is gonna scale, or this product is gonna scale? What are the stuff you look at?
Ahmed, was that for me?
Yes, it was for you.
All right. If I get your question correctly, you said that what are some factors you look at to determine if a startup is scalable or not scalable, right?
Exactly, because like in this hackathon, like one of the stuff we're actually marking against is we are marking against what products are scalable, feasible, and also again. So from a scalability point of view, how do you know that this product is scalable?
All right. That's such a great question. From a scalability point, the question is, like I already mentioned, it's very important to be able to iterate your solution. Is the solution iteratable? Most times people confuse profitability with scalability. That you're profitable doesn't mean that you're scalable, and you need to be able to define and run scalability tests. Are we iteratable? Can we? Is there a market to expand to? And the markets that we have now, can we consolidate? Those are like very, very important factors to consider. I mean, running a product market fit survey or analysis is not usually enough. That reminds you that your product is needed by a particular section of the market. But how can you expand? How can you become a big deal? How can you become easily adoptable? And those are some of the things that I already mentioned to stay trendy and all of those things. Can your product adopt and adapt to such features that can make you a household name? So those are some of the things I think um, every startup company should really figure out to decide if they are scalable or they're not.
Nice, nice, cool stuff. Felix, I didn't know if you're with us now. Are you here? Since Felix is having like really bad internet. So again, so Deji again, back to you. It's gonna be, like what are the amount of iteration do you think a product should go through? So again, for example, I'm imagining like, people currently in this design challenge will probably go through that first iteration, currently, yeah. So so after that done with the whole design challenge, what are the amount of iteration do you envision them going? Is it gonna be unlimited? How do they know that I've gotten to my product market fit? How do I know this is a feasible solution? Did you seems you're muted?
Oh yeah, sorry. So as I was saying, yeah, I think that's an interesting question. I think I'll relate this to testing. You can never stop testing a product, right? So it simply means that the iteration of a product cannot stop. You always have to think of something different. What this basically means is that after your first iteration, the most important thing that everyone should look for is product market fit, right? So you work on your product. This is how your product is. You test your product out. Do you think your target market appreciates what you do? Do you think that at this point you're at a point where they would want to ride on with your product? I think that is the point where you allow your product you allow the market play with your product, right? So product market iterations is actually usually dependent on the product market fit. At the point where you feel that, okay, I think there are still some touches, accept user feedback, get user feedback, and that is why the interaction with real users is very compulsory. Get user feedback, listen to their feedback, try to meditate on their feedback, analyze their feedback. So this is what my target market is telling me about this particular product. So, okay, what can I do? And one thing you should also notice that it is not every feedback that users give you that you would implement. That's number one thing that everybody needs to put in their mind. Secondly, you also have to be able to think for your users. So, for example, when you're having product interviews, there are usually questions like, "Oh, do you think that this should work like this?" If the person says, "Yes, I feel it should work like this, but I don't know if you could add one or two things." Now, the next thing for you to be able to do is that firstly, you also get to analyze your user feedback upon iteration, meaning, is this feedback, is it valid, or is this something that would fly? It's not every user feedback that will fly, definitely. And even if it is going to fly, I need to be able to build for scalability, build for the future, meaning the users. Let me give you. I'm in the financial space, right? So I'm just going to give you an example. So someone is telling you they want a feature where they could send money, right? They want to be able to send money through bank accounts. Now, the feedback I'm receiving is that this person wants to be able to send money. So I'm thinking, the person wants to be able to send money, wants to be able to send money through bank accounts. But there's a possibility that I could also implement this person being able to send money with his username. I could also implement something that thinks about this person being able to send money with even his phone number, which is probably a unique identifier. I don't know if you get me. So these things, attrition is continuous, and until you get to that point where you believe that your market loves what you're doing, then that is when that's like your product market fit. That is when you should relax and allow your product play well and flow with the market before you determine your next steps, right? So yeah, I think that's basically it.
It's nice, nice, really cool. So Prince, if you're here with us, like can you sort of like just tell us a little bit into what are those key steps do you think? I know they already said some stuff around it, about the product, the steps they need to take into talk about research. But like from your own unique point of view, as a brand coach, what are those steps do you think um the participants should be looking at, beyond just the product, but more like, how does this product connect with the audience and the public, and then have like a really good visibility for that.
But thank you, made very important that I think one of the most important things any product or any company should focus on is the perception of their product.
And that's what a brand is. When people think about you, what comes to your mind? Are you the first touch in their head when they need a problem solved? And all of this it revolves around three major things. First of all, the quality of service, the quality of delivery. Like Ayodeji said, until you have iterated enough to a certain stage where people are now confident that with you, say for example, let's use money, where you're sending money. Like when I send my money to you, it's going to get delivered and I'm going to get debited correctly. Until they get that peace of mind for a quality delivery, um, I mean, you need a lot of work to do. That's number one. The second thing is reassurance. We're in a very competitive market space right now, and you're not doing anything entirely new. What you're doing, someone else is doing already, and there is almost nothing unique about what you're doing. Almost, I mean, there's such a very thin line between what you're doing differently and what someone else is really clicking to do differently. So that bit of reassurance to your customers that you've got their best interest at heart, and which is partnered with customer service. I mean, excellent customer experience, and which is a combination of the customer experience, the customer service, and the brand messaging for a brand. The last one is really about the branding itself when it comes to graphic designs and all of those things. You see, most people don't pay attention to that. They expect that we offer cool stuff, then everybody should acknowledge that we offer cool stuff and start using it. It doesn't work that way. There is a way you position yourself in people's faces. I mean, the marketplace has never been as noisy as it is right now. It's noisy and so disrupted. So if you want to stay in people's faces, you want to have them use your products constantly, and become evangelists of such fantastic products that you've created. It is very, very important that those three things are synchronized and synergized to get you the kind of results you're looking for.
Nice, nice. Also, I mean, I also like what Praise said there, because it's so you try to tell the participant that like when you're trying to submit your slide deck, please make it fine. Like how you present the slide deck might obviously influence how the judges may feel like, oh, I think this is a really really cool product. So again, there are like a lot of steps in product design, you know, from research to prototyping to the design itself, so then how you then go ahead and implement it technically. But what we're doing in this hackathon is, we are leaving technical implementation. So it's more like just research, prototyping, then the design, using like a CAD tool, you know. Which step do you think is the most time consuming? So I listed first step, yeah. I know like it can obviously still be better, based on what you guys do. The research, the visual design, like the wireframing stuff. You have the prototyping part, then you have the technical implementation. What part do you think people get stuck the most from your own, point of view? Um, did you are muted?
Yeah, I think the heavier part of the task is actually researching, which a lot of people just take with meager and people underrate research a lot. And I personally feel that research is interesting and extremely tedious, because research usually determines the vision and direction of whatever you want to implement or whatever you want to design. So I always advise people to do their own work very, very well. Do your own work very, very well before you even start to lay your hands on design or prototyping or implementation. Because when you're researching, you're trying to understand what you need to completely do. But when you're designing or when you're prototyping, you know what you want to do, you know where you're going to exactly. So I think the most important step, the most brain heavy step is actually that part where you have to research on exactly what you want to do and say, this is what I want to face. So yeah, I think that's the most tedious part.
Nice, nice, cool stuff. So praise. I think this has been really insightful, even for me. Because like some really cool stuff that praise and DJ are just like giving me left and right. Like that's making it it's cool. But praise from your own end. have you been stuck in any kind of product design process before, and then how did you overcome it? Because again, I believe and I feel there will be a lot of people on this call that are trying to research something and then they are stuck, right? So so how do you think on your own hand that they could navigate around that kind of challenge?
Yes, I've been stuck. Been stuck. For example, we're running some I was we having a product research review. Like I did you said, the most consuming part of the product phase for me too is the research. Trying to understand people are doing already and then trying to do it better. And like I said, since there's such a thin margin between what people are doing already and what you're trying to do fantastically, it makes it very difficult. So you have to like iterate your research, and then you find out that whatever you're doing is not really new. And that's like a very difficult thing for most product designers because everybody's trying to build the next big thing. And then you have to come to a very ugly conclusion that you might not be building the next big thing. You might just be iterating something that's already built, number one, or finding a loop in what they've not solved. And so for me, how do I overcome that? Um, for me, I just take time off. I take time off. I'm not when I say take time off. I'm not saying like dump the project or just move on your life. No, I'm saying I take a day off or a couple hours off because it's trainers. You can get trainers sometimes, and it's very very important to know that you can step away from a project for a while, refresh, and come back. And the while, don't lose your energy or don't lose your steam, your momentum before you come back to it. So for me, when you're stuck, just take a step away from the project. Go and do something else you like doing, or go talk to people about what you think about the project, and then you hear perspectives. Usually, we are stuck because we are in our own heads, like we are just thinking what we think, and and hearing other people talk about what could sometimes be the answers we are looking for, and that's one critical thing I've learned about being stuck either in product design or anything about life.
Mm. Nice, nice, got you. Felix, are you with us now? Is he? Nah, I think Felix is frozen. It's so sad that he just come that they just freeze again, and not bad. So it's again. I think this was a really insightful session. For me. So again, I think we've talked about like all the major stuff. We talk about from research, what you need to look into, how to do customer research, how to put yourself out there. If you're stuck, what do you do? So again, DJ and Prince, just again, anyone can go first. Is just my own is just okay. So you have over 100 participants watching you for design challenge currently, and then you want to tell them something, right? So what would that stuff be? What would that stuff be?
Should I go first or freeze?
Yeah, you can go
Please
first
go
after
ahead.
you've muted.
Okay. Okay. So for me, I think, and I think you call it products, not idea, right? And that's what is most important. And I'm not trying to break everyone's heart, but I need people to learn the act of thinking very deep and doing a lot of research, meaning that a great idea is not usually a great product. I think that's the most important thing I would leave for people. A great idea does not mean it's going to be a great product. You have to do your research and you have to find your product market fit. You have to allow your audience or your target market find their eureka moment. That moment when they have an emotional connection with your product. Yeah, I think that's very, very important. So yeah, a great idea does not necessarily mean you're going to have a great product. So you have to work.
Nice, nice. Chris, how about you?
Like I already said, great ideas never make great products. In fact, lots of great ideas were never batted. But for me, the most important part of my experience with any project at all, whether a product or a project, is that there are three kinds of energy. There is an ideation energy, there is an initiation energy, and there is an execution energy. Importantly, most people spend time on ideation, thinking about the ideas, and not get their hands dirty. So and that's why most people have great ideas but never cross to the next threshold, which is the initiation energy, and then the final threshold, which is the execution. Most people expend all of their energy on ideation, on wishful thinking, or this is possible, this is possible. Yeah, now that you know that this is possible, you cross to the next stage of initiation where you start to like strategize, team building, more critical analytics and analysis of the idea itself. What is the market saying? Is there a market fit for it? And if there is a market fit, what niche of the market can we attack? What is the underserved part of the market? Those are the things that you do in the initiation stage of your products. It's very critical. Then from the initiation stage, get your hands dirty. Um, no great products was used on the shelf. They have to be sold. They have to be either given for free, whatever business model works for you, whether it's freemium or a subscription based, whatever it is. Just test it. Ask your friends to test it. Ask strangers to test it. And in a part of the testing, I would suggest sentimentally that you ask more women to test than men. Usually we found out that women have more problem, interfacing technology. So if your product is simple enough for lots of women to comfortably use, then you might just be on your way to building a solid product for a solid user-friendly products. So I think that's those three things. First, energy. Understand your energy. Second, um, push your product out to the market. Don't keep it on the shelf. Don't wait for the perfect product. You iterate based on feedbacks, not based on your own ideas. You iterate based on feedbacks, not your own ideas. And lastly, make sure that women are the most people testing your products. Because if women find it easy enough to use, then your product might just be on your way to being a very good user friendly product. That's the question.
Awesome, awesome. So again, it was really nice having um DG Ajuwon, product lead at Pass. Preside Adele, brand coach. He does public speaking. He's into startup. He does everything. Just anything product. Just come and meet Chris. And then yeah, so again, it was really nice to have this chat with you guys. Really insightful. I'm sure the participants in our house were enjoying it. And yeah, I mean, and since you guys are actually on the Slack page, you know, I know definitely they would obviously reach out to you. I'm like, I saw this stream was really nice. How can I build my products? Nice. Cool stuff. So again, with that, we'd call the end of the session. Hope you guys, um, enjoyed it. And then bye everyone.
Bye, Amit.